Welcome to Hi Channel. Today, please go with us to the historic heart of innovation at the Bell Homestead National Historic Site, the very place where one of the world's most transformative inventions first came to life. On this special day, we are visiting during Doors Open Along the Grand, when this remarkable site opens its doors for a truly immersive experience. With the help of passionate docents, we are invited not just to see history, but to step inside it, to walk through the rooms, hear the stories, and feel the atmosphere of a time when communication itself was about to change forever. Our journey begins in the beautifully restored Melville House, the Bell family home from 1870 to 1881. Inside, every room is carefully furnished to reflect the life and times of the Bells, offering a glimpse into their daily routines and inspirations. The family had moved here from Scotland, seeking a healthier environment for their son, Alexander Graham Bell. It was believed that Canada's clean air and peaceful surroundings would benefit his fragile health, a decision that would unknowingly shape the future of the modern world. It was here within these very walls and across the surrounding landscape that Bell's curiosity and determination flourished. In 1874, his groundbreaking work led to the invention of the telephone, a device that would forever connect people across distance. Just 2 years later, in 1876, Bell made the first successful long-distance telephone call between Brantford and Paris, Ontario, a historic moment that echoed far beyond these quiet communities. As we continue our visit, we step into the Henderson House, another fascinating piece of telecommunications history. Originally located in downtown Brantford, this building served as Canada's very first telephone business office, starting in 1877. Carefully relocated to this site in 1969, it now stands as a testament to the rapid growth of this revolutionary technology. Inside, the exhibit gallery showcases early telecommunications equipment and stories that trace the evolution of how we connect with one another. From a family home to a birthplace of invention, and from a small office to the beginnings of a global industry, this site tells a powerful story of innovation, perseverance, and vision. And as our visit comes to an end, it becomes clear why the city of Brantford is proudly known as the Telephone City. Beyond this homestead, you can discover many other landmarks and monuments throughout the city that celebrate the legacy of Bell and the invention that changed the world. Join us as we explore, discover, and relive the moments that brought voices across distance for the very first time.
Social gatherings, family reunions, and holidays. Children under the age of 12 weren't typically allowed in this room unless given special permission. And if granted permission, they were to sit quietly with their hands folded neatly in their lap and not to speak unless spoken to. Going with the old saying that children should be seen and not heard. So the lady of the house, Eliza Bell, who was also the mother of Alexander Graham Bell, had lost her hearing at age 3 and being placed into her ear, and the speaker speaking into the open end, amplifying and clearing up his voices.
Who invented that?
Couldn't tell you. But Alexander Graham Bell actually really hated using this device. So instead, he would press his lips to his mother's forehead, and then through the vibrations, she would be able to hear or understand what he was saying. This table here is original to the Bell family, and upon the table you will see a sketch of Alexander Graham Bell and his wife Mabel. Another original piece to the Bell family is the winged chair in the back. It is original, it has just been reupholstered. You can go upstairs to the bedrooms, or down the hall to the dining room and kitchen, or through here and to your left is Alexander Graham Bell's bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And that would hook up with that.
Are these the original design draft?
Replicas of the drawings, yeah.
Oh.
So then, we went back to the first iteration of the telephone where he had coils. So how this works is there's two coils with metal touching metal, produces electricity. So you speak in here, moves back and forth, and then you can hear, and then that produces electricity, and then you hear it on this end with what is essentially a bigger version of that. On the desk, you'll also find a glove he made for his wife, Mabel. So his wife, Mabel, was was deaf. So for long walks at night, you couldn't really communicate through sign language. So what he did is he made this glove that she could wear, and each part of the glove, each part of the hand represents a letter. So then, when it was dark out, they could she could touch her hand, and there would be all sorts, and they could have conversations. Here you'll find his bed. So you might notice it's kind of short it's kind of small compared to today's beds. That's because people were smaller back then. However, he was fairly tall. He had tuberculosis, so he had to sit up straight. So it did work out in his favor that he was taller with a smaller bed. Does anybody have any questions?
So was that one of his brothers died of tuberculosis?
Both of his.
Oh,
yeah.
both of them. So they all got it. He just survived.
Yes, yeah, and that's kind of when he came to Canada in the hopes that the clean air might save him.
So the shower in the other room.
Yes.
Did you talk about that
No.
previously?
No, so the shower, the shower was built and designed by him. So how it worked is he would take water from outside, it'd be brought, it would just flow in, and then it could be stored for when they want it. So when they wanted to use it, he would, what happened is brought downstairs, heat it if they want to, and then they'd be pumped back upstairs where somebody could shower with it.
And it was the first one.
Yeah, it was
ever
really one of the kind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not many people had it like that before.
Wow.
Yeah, the house was still out there.
Amazing man. Surrounded by people with disabilities, like surrounded by.
Alexander's father would spend a good portion of his time.
Oh.
So he was often seen here reading, writing, or smoking cigars. So yeah, and here's a nice, lovely portrait of Eliza Bell, Alexander's mother. She was a very well-accomplished artist who painted a lot of portraits, landscapes, needlework, and was also very determined to teach all three of her boys piano. She was deaf, but she did not lose her hearing until later in life, or not super late in life, but she was still able to know how to talk and pronounce things. But unfortunately, she did lose it to scarlet fever, so it was more she was hard of hearing. And over here is a piece of coral and a platypus. Maybe wondering why this is here and not in Australia, because, well, we're in Canada. But they had a cousin who lived in Australia, and when he came to visit them in Canada, he brought this piece of coral and a platypus. So they are very much both real and very old. And this guy has lost a foot and an eye in that time duration, but he is doing well. But unfortunately, at that time, they did use arsenic in the taxidermy process. So he's no longer fun to touch, but fun to look at.
Yeah.
And over here is what's called visible speech. So Melville Bell was also someone who taught the deaf and was a very good professor.
Yeah.
But he invented this system. So this system here, all these symbols represent parts of the mouth. So lips, tongue, palate, throat, and it would basically be showing how you would make a certain sound. Because unfortunately, when you are teaching someone who's deaf, you cannot tell them how to make that sound or show them. So you would so they made that system of visually showing them in what position their mouth had.
No, these furnishings here are all period pieces. Most of the furniture on the main floor of the homestead is original.
When they introduced ringers, how were those ready?
How exactly? Was there a rush? A bunch for something that would push?
Yeah, so have you been in the gallery yet? Okay, when you get in there, right inside on this wall is the switchboard that first went into use in 1878. On that switchboard, you'll see a row of these call bells, okay? On either side of the bell is a button. So in your home, you'd push the button, that would ring the call bell in the exchange to tell the operator on that line you wanted to make a call. From the switchboard, you'll also see that there are telegraph keys. The operator used the telegraph key to ring your telephone because you didn't have your own phone line. You were on what was called a party line, which meant you shared your phone line with all of your neighbors. So to tell you the call was for you, you had a different ring than all of the neighbors did. You had to listen for the number of rings, and the operator would tap out your number using that telegraph key. So if your number, for example, was 24, you'd go 1, 2, wait 2 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're counting the number of rings coming through on your call log.